A very good afternoon to one and all. We will start our today's session. So last class we finished our discussion on DES algorithm, right? And we came across certain weaknesses in DES algorithm. Okay, this which have been overcome by this algorithm called AES, that is Advanced Encryption Standard. Right. This AES is again a symmetric key block cipher. It came into existence during the year of 2001, late December 2001, by NIST. Those were the people who authorized AES to be used as a symmetric key block cipher. So we'll be discussing about design criteria of AES algorithm and the round structures. Here newly I'm introducing you a term called data unit, how the data is formatted before it is going to be processed under DES algorithm. Then we move off with the structure of each and every round. Right. Here AES is going to fall under three design criteria. First one is security. So obviously, if you take any cryptographic algorithm, any crypto system which you are going to design, it should be satisfying the security issue. That is, if anyone, any person is going to have a knowledge of about the ciphertext and the key, also she should not be allowed to recreate or retrieve the plain text back. So that much sophisticatedly you have to format your algorithm. Then the cost of implementing your algorithm. So it includes the infrastructure cost, your computation cost, and other stuff. Okay. So implementing these AES algorithm in the real world scenario, so this cost of implementing those algorithms also taken into consideration. Then implementation, this especially deal about the compatibility issues. That is how compatible your AES algorithm is compared to existing algorithms, the compatibility with other stuff and other algorithms, backward compatibility, as well as scaling. That is, even if you are going to give me huge blocks of data, my algorithm should be able to implement its security over that particular plain text in an efficient way, both cost efficient as well as in a computationally efficient way. So keeping these three entities in the mind only, they have designed this AES algorithm. Okay, so if you see the general rounds, how the AES will look like. So AES is a non-fiestal cipher, whereas your DES algorithm is a fiestal cipher. AES is a non-fiestal cipher. So can anyone tell what you mean by non-fiestal cipher? We saw DES algorithm is a fiestal cipher. When I say a non-fiestal cipher, so here your AES is a non-fiestal cipher. They're saying, can anyone tell what you mean by non-fiestal cipher? Yes, Kashish. So it will be using only invertible components. That is, the components which are going to be used in in DES algorithm are all going to be a non-fiestal cipher. That is, every component will have an invertible equivalent at the decryption end, right? And here the data blocks which are going to use are made up of 128 bits. Compared to DES algorithm, there our plain text and ciphertext blocks are 64 bit. Here the double the size we are going to use. Each and every block is made up of 128 bit. And here we have a flexibility of choosing the number of rounds. If you check in our DES algorithm, we had initial permutation, then 16 rounds, then final permutation, right? So here we have three options, whether you can go with 10 rounds or 12 rounds or 14 rounds. Okay, based on the cipher key size which you are going to use, the number of rounds will be decided, right? So we have three different cipher key size. So I'm again repeating, it is a cipher key size alone. It is not round key size, right? So the cipher key size can be 128 bit, 192 bit, and 256 bit. So if you are using 128 bit of cipher key size, you will be using it 10 rounds. If you are using 192 bit of your cipher key size, you'll be going with 12 rounds. And if you are using 256 bits, then you'll be going with 14 rounds here. Right. So here the three versions are defined with respect to the number of rounds we are going to use based on the cipher key size. And you can able to see the round keys produced from the cipher keys will be always 128 bit. Okay. this size won't change. So if you see the general structure or the general design of an AES algorithm, okay, here we'll be starting off with a block of a plain text, which is 128-bit block. Okay, this will go a transformation called pre-round transformation. Okay, here we have a pre-round transformation. We will see what is this pre-round transformation in the upcoming slides. So in this pre-round transformation, okay, then only we'll be having the rounds. This round can be either 10 or 12 or 14. So totally number of rounds plus one pre-round transformation. So number of keys required are the number of rounds which are going to do plus one more key. That's why the keys are starting from K0, then K1, K2, K3 up to number of rounds. So if you are using a cipher keys, that is 128 means 10 rounds, 192, 12 rounds, and 256 bit means you'll be going with 14 rounds. So whatever the cipher key you're going to give for the key expander or key generator, whatever you call, okay, if you're giving 128 bit or 192 or 256, the round keys, that is your K0, K1, K2 and other things, everything will be only 128 bit. Yeah, inside this one also I'm giving a block of 128 bit. So here the round key is also 128 bit. So it will be easy for adding those keys with the incoming plain text. Right, and the final output after the final round will be taken as a ciphertext of this particular round. Okay, for the particular encryption. Okay, this is a general structure of your AES algorithm. Right. So anyone have any doubts in this one? I hope you are clear with the cipher keys, round keys, the block sizes, and the general structure. If it is clear, kindly raise your hand.
So these are for CAT2, right?
This is for CAT2, don't worry. This is for CAT2 only. Only module 1 and 2 are CAT1. This is module 3, we will be discussing in our CAT2. So apart from this CAT doubts, anyone have any doubt in this algorithm based discussion? No, fine. Now I move on to data units. How we are going to deal the data in AES algorithm. If you take in DES algorithm, everything will be bitwise. Ones and zeros only there. All the manipulations, all the calculations, whatever you are going to do will be done with bit size. Right. Whereas here we are going to deal in a different way. How in the sense? So I hope everyone know this small B0, B1, B2, B3 up to B7, totally 8 small letter B's. The small letter B's are nothing but bit. Okay, so totally 8 bits are here. So this 8 bits make 1 byte. Right, and bytes are denoted as a small letter bold B. Right, and next I'm converting them into words. Here these are nothing but I have 4 bytes. 4 bytes B0, B1, B2, B3. 4 bytes make 1 word. So can you people tell how many bits present in a word? How many bits can be there in the word? You can unmute or you can use your chat box. 4 bits make 1 byte and 4 bytes make 1 word, means totally you'll be having 32 bits. Thank you. So 32 bits make 1 word and you can represent all the bits and bytes in either row vector or column vector. Right. Then we can also able to represent these words, a group of words as a blocker. Assume this is nothing but my W0 word, W1, word number 2, word number 3, and word number 4. Okay. All kept in a series way. That is, you can able to start from B0 to B15. I can able to call them as a block. Right. And I can also represent them in different way. That is, if I write B0 here, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5 and goes on, and here comes a B15. That is, I'm taking each and every word W0, W1, W2 and W3 and writing in them in the column wise. Okay. Then I can able to call them as a state. So totally in this one we have 4 words Okay, totally 4 words make one block. And the same thing, it's another way of representing this. Here also state also made up of 4 words. So can you people tell how many bytes are there in this one and how many bits are there? I have 4 words. So I'm asking how many bytes and how many bits. I mean, bytes, you have the answer directly from the slide itself. Yes, 16 bytes you have, P0 to B15. So each byte is made up of 8 bits. So 16 into 8 will be 128 bits. So like this only will be representing this our 128 bit plain text block, which will be taken into our AES processing, right? So this is how the conversion they showed here. It's a simple way. Take the block, write them in the column wise. You'll be getting your state, right? So is it clear, guys, regarding data units? If it is clear, raise your hand. If anyone have any doubt in this data units, what is the state will look like? Okay, what is how 128 bits are represented in state? If and only if you are clear with this one, you can able to understand the AES operation. Right. Thank you, Arun. Thank you, Kashish. About others. Okay, I think they are clear. Right. Now, this is an example here. I have a small homework for you here. I'll just tell you first. So how they are changing a plain text into a state. So here the text is AES uses matrix. Okay, up to this is a state. It's a plain text, but it doesn't come into 128 bit. So in order to make it a 128 bit, we added 2 null characters called Z and Z, right? Now they converted this text messages into hexadecimal values. So here the conversion, how they made and they took the text, they gave the positional values. Positional value will be in decimal, right? Positional values. Then they convert the positional values into hexa. But I need you people to check how this conversion has happened. For example, okay, A is 0, no issues. Is how come S came 12 and U came 14? And you can able to see your M is 0C. X is 23. At least with this one, you can able to easily guess X is 23. And you can see Z is 19. This conversion. This is the way they converted. I want you people to analyze this part as your homework. How this conversion happened. How to convert a text into a hexadecimal value. Right. So once they have converted like this, they can take this one, the first 4 hexadecimal values, right, as your W0, because each and every value is made of 8 bits, right? 8 bits, or each and value is nothing but 1 byte. Right, so 4 bytes make one word. This is W0, W1, W2, and your W3. All 4 words are taken and they written in the column wise. This is how they will be converting the incoming text message into a state value here. Right. I hope you are clear with the conversion this one. Right. If it is clear, kindly raise your hand so that we move into the structures. Right. So I want you people to have a small homework you can do after the cat also. Okay. Right. Now we move into the structure of each and every round. Right. So how this each and every round is going to be done. Right. 1 second. Yeah. So here you have your state here, which is going to be incoming. So when your first round, as in this is round 1, it first going to make a transformation called sub-byte transformation. This sub-byte transformation is going to perform your substitution cipher. So each and every byte is going to be substituted with some other byte, and the output is going to be shifted using operation called shift to row, which is going to give the operation of permutation, or you can able to call them as a transposition cipher also. So here I have introduced the property of my confusion. Here I introduce the property of diffusion here. Right. Again, after shifting rows, I'm performing operation called mix column, which is also going to do a substitution cipher another confusion property is going to be applied. We'll see why. So already we have done this confusion property and diffusion property by substituting and transpose. And transposition sequence. Why we are going for another confusion property, we will see while discussing. Then the output is going to be added with the add round key. Added in the sense I am speaking about your XOR operation. Okay, and the final output will be taken as a cipher text, right? And here we have two things you people have to remember. One is the third transformation. That is the third transformation here in sense the mixed column will be missing in your last round. Okay, for example, if you're going with AES 128, till the 10th round will be missing the mixed column. Okay, the third transformation will be missing, and you can able to see one add round key is applied before first round. That is, I'm speaking about this pre-round transformation. Simply once you get the state, right, I'll be simply XORing with the add round key, this K0. No other operation will be there in the pre-round transformation. Only addition of key will be there, right? We'll see those things in the later. So as of now, this is the structure of each and every round. We'll be having a sub byte, shift row, mixed column, and add round key. So thereby introducing all the operations. All the operations are invertible to each other, which can be used at the receiving end. So as I said, here A is going to produce a substitution, permutation, mixing, and key adding. Now we'll start off with first one, that is sub byte transformation. Okay, since this is a non-fiascal cipher, we'll be using invertible combinations itself. So how this is going to be done? In the sense, if we take each and every character in the state, for example, this is the state means each and every byte of this hexadecimal value. So we are representing each and every byte as a hexadecimal value. So this hexadecimal value will be having some 2 digit, right? 2 digit the hexadecimal value. So I'll take the first digit, okay, A, okay, and I will choose what is a row using a table called sub byte table. Sub byte table is a lookup table. In that table, I'll be choosing the row, and I will take the second character, that is B, and I will choose the column from that one, right? So I'll be choosing the element which is the particular row and particular column, and I'll replace this byte with this new byte. And we'll see an example here. This is a sub byte transformation table. Okay, so you have a 16 column from 0 to F, and here also 16 columns, but here only I showed 6, and the next slide I have shown the rest of the 16. So 16 cross 16 table, and this is the inverse sub byte table. Since this is a non-fiascal cipher, whatever table which you are going to use at the encryption end will be having the inverse version at the decryption end also, right?
Yay!
What happened? Someone is shouting. Right. Now we'll see how this sub byte has been done. Okay, this is a state we just we saw from the first example, how we converted this AES uses matrix. This is a state which is before sub byte. Now I'm introducing a sub byte transformation. Assume that I'm taking the byte, this one 12. Okay, 12 goes means the first row I have to go for sub byte table. Okay, so first row 2 is here. So the 12 will be replaced with C9. Right, you can able to see we got a C9. And check anything, like for example, I take okay, 0C. Okay. 0 means 0th row. 1 second. 0th row, and C is replaced with F. And if you want to see the inverse, suppose FE, in the sense, if I go for inverse sub byte table, so F is here and E will be this one actually. So we got 0C back, right? So even if, for example, if you want to check whether how this 7D is replaced with 13 here, go for inverse sub byte table.
Sorry, I missed that.
Sorry. I have 7 here and D, 7D is 13 here. Right, this is how your sub byte transformation works on. There are also other way we can able to use this subway transformation using Galois fill. It was mentioned in the book, but my suggestion always go with the lookup table or examination point of view. But I have added how this one has happened. They took a constant matrix and they have to multiply with all the state with this one. Then they have to convert them into hexadecimal value. So it's a tedious process, right? So I hope you are clear with sub-byte transformation. If it is clear, kindly raise your hand. Correct. We move on to shift to rows. How the shift to row is going to happen. So now we have done the substitution. Now I'm going for permutation using a shift row operation. So I'll be naming the rows as 0, 1, 2, and 3. Totally we have 4 rows only because we have, it is a 4 plus 4 matrix. Okay, the row number defines the number of byte shift. Here it is a byte shift, not a bit shift. It is a byte shift. So if you take 0th row, we'll have no shift. Row number 1 will have 1 byte left shift and 2 byte left shift for row 2, and row 3 will go for 3 byte left shift. Like this you can able to see. That is, you can able to see this F2 is moved here and the C9 is moved this side, and this one FA 63 and 82 has been moved here. Right. So for inverse shift row, it will move in the other direction. It's a very simple. Right. So after this performing this sub-byte transformation and shift row, we are going with the mixing of columns. Why we are going for this mixing of column in the sense, here we are going to make the transformation, that is a change, is going to be done inside each and every byte, because each and every byte is made up of bits. If you see sub-byte table, I'm replacing one byte with another byte. That's all. I'm not touching the bits inside. So what here we am going to do in sense, I'm going to introduce a diffusion property at a bit level. That is, I'm going to change the bits sitting inside each and every byte here. Right. So this only I am going to use this mixing of columns. How we are going to do in sense, I'm going to take a constant matrix which is already predefined by AES algorithm, and I'm going to multiply with the state. Right. So this is the constant matrix used at the encryption end, and this is the constant matrix used at the decryption end. Right. So I will show how this mixing is happened. I want everyone to listen to this because mixing of column alone is worthy for 10 marks. And there's no book have given how the mixing is happened. They simply showed the output alone. Right. So I want everyone to note down this matrix C matrix, that is a column matrix, that is constant matrix used at the encryption end now, so that we will move on to the example. Once you are noted down this first matrix, kindly raise your hand. So kindly note down this matrix. Once noted down, kindly raise your hand. Okay, so that we move on further. Okay, thank you, Kashish. What about others? Arun and Kashish. Arun. Okay. So how they will do in the sense, they will take each and every column here. For example, they took this column. Okay, this is the column they have taken, and this constant matrix is going to be multiplied, and I'm going to get a new column here. This entire column will be replaced here. Right. So how this multiplication is going to be done? So inverse matrix columns are again will be multiplying with the inverse version of the particular constant matrix. That's all. So this is the matrix which we just obtained after our shift rows. After shifting the rows, this is the matrix which we obtained. Right. Now we are going to find how this matrix has been transformed to this one. Okay. So I'll just take this first column for your reference. Okay, one column, that is this column will take and I will show how it is replaced. So I want everyone to listen to this carefully. Sorry. So can you people tell me the constant matrix? Anyone can you tell? Mute until so that I can write here. You have noted down the constant matrix, right?
So 2, 0, 2,
Yeah, 2,
3,
3,
1,
1,
1.
1,
The next row 1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
1,
1,
1,
1,
1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
3,
3,
1, 1, 2.
1, 1, 2. Perfect. Right. So this is the constant matrix which I have. Now I'm going to multiply with the one of the column, and the column is 63 F2, 63 F2, 70, and D4. Right. I hope everyone knows matrix multiplication. So if you multiply this one, first one, what I will have in the sense, I'll be having 02 multiplied with 63. Right. Then XOR. So here all the additions will be in terms of XOR operation. Next comes 03, which is going to be multiplied with F2. So XOR with 01 multiplied with 7D. Again XOR with 01 multiplied with D4. This is the operation which I'm going to do now. Right. I want everyone to listen to this very carefully, how this is going to be done. Right. First operation, what we are going to take in the sense, it is 02 and 63. We are going to multiply. First step, convert them into binary equivalent. So if you convert the 02, I'll be getting 0, 0, 0, then 0, 0, 1, 0. Right. So can you people tell me the binary equivalent for 63? 63 is in hexadecimal. It's not in normal decimal values. It is in hexadecimal. Convert this one into binary value, and you can post in the chat box. Convert 63 into hexadecimal. Easy guys. Convert 6 into binary, 3 into binary. That's all. Yeah, 0, 1, 1, 0. I think Kashish is correct. If it is correct, give a thumbs up to Kashish answer. If you're having any different answer, just post it out. So we are having 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. Oh, sorry. So 1, 1, 0. Second is a mistake. Oh, actually, Kashish, what you said is correct. Actually, totally 8 bits you have to get. If you put in our website, that is on internet converters, it will go only, it will show 7 bits alone. Actually, if it is showing 7 bits, you have to insert 1 0 in the before. Am I clear, Kashish? Okay, okay. What about others? Arun, have you found? Are you getting the same answer?
Yes, sir. So the earlier one.
Earlier one, that is 0, 1.
0,
Yeah.
0, 1.
Yeah. So this is the what you have got. Now I have to convert them into our polynomial arithmetic. So this one, if I convert, I'll be getting as epsilon. And here, if I get note, I'll be getting h power 7. Sorry, I'll be getting h power 6 plus h power 5. I hope everyone remembers, because this is power number 7. This is, I'll just show different color. That is, here comes power number 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So right? I will be getting x power 6 plus x power 5 plus x power 6 and 5 is there, 4, 3, 2, 0. So I'll be getting x plus 1, right? Now we have to multiply this two, right? So if you multiply this two, I'll be getting as x power 7 plus x power 6 plus x square plus x. If I convert them into binary, I'll be getting 1, 1. Right. I'll be getting 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. Right. This is what you'll be getting as output here. Is it clear, guys? Up to this step? If it is clear, raise a hand. This is clear. Simply converting them into binary, then polynomial arithmetic, and I'm multiplying. No issues. Now I'm going for my second one. Right. That is this one. That is 0, 3 multiply with f2. So this is a one as over. So second one 0, 3 and f2, right? So if I convert 0, 3, you'll be getting the answer as 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, right? So f2, what is the thing you're getting here? Convert them into binary and post the answer. And yeah, thank you, Arun. You posted the answer for 3. For f2, what will be the binary equivalent? Yeah, you're getting 4 ones because f is the highest value, so obviously we'll be getting 4 ones and 0. Sorry, for 2 it is 0, 0, 1, 0. And if I convert them into my equivalent binary, here I'll be getting as x plus 1, and here I'll be getting x power 7 plus x power 6 5 plus x power 4 plus x. And may I write yes, plus 3, 2, yeah, plus x. Now if you multiply this two, what will be the binary? Sorry, what will be the polynomial arithmetic you're getting? You can post it the answer in the chat box. You can simply write x8, x7, x6 kind of thing. No need to put power. So multiply this two. Whenever you have the addition of two same powers, obviously you'll be going with a 0 because here additions are all XOR operation. So if you multiply these two polynomial, for example, if I get x power 4 plus x power 4, okay, you will be writing up 0 because both will cancel each other. So like that, once you're done, kindly post the answer in the chat box. The polynomial value after multiplying these two. It's a practice for a cat one. The 2h7, 2h6, 2h5, those things should not come. You won't get 2h power 7. The h power 7 will get cancelled. Am I right, Arun? Because being addition here is XOR operation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. So Kashish, I think you're missing some other powers also. X power 8 is there, X power 7 is there. What about others? What Arun wrote is correct in a normal polynomial arithmetic way. If you have XOR operation, can you remove those double? Yeah. Then yes, Arun. Now the answer is correct. That is, you'll be getting x power 8. Right. 1 second. Yeah. Now we'll be getting x power 8 plus x power 4 plus x square plus x square plus x. Okay. Now we are going to face the major issue here. What is a major issue here in the sense, if I convert them into binary here, I'll be ending up with 9 bits here if I convert them. Okay, but this 9 bit is going to exceed. Okay, because my highest power should be x power 7 alone, then only I can able to get 8 bits. There I'm introducing my irreducible polynomial for degree 8. And using this irreducible polynomial, I'm going to reduce this one. Right, how we are going to reduce this in the sense, I'm going to divide our value, that is we already got is x power 8 plus x power 4 plus x square plus x. This is the thing we got, right? Yes. This is going to be reduced using the irreducible polynomial called, we have x power 8 plus x power 4 plus x cube, I think so. X cube plus x plus 1. So this will go 1 times here. So I'll be getting x power 8 plus x power 4 plus x cube plus x plus 1. So if I do this one, here subtraction also will be XOR operation. This both will get cancelled. This both will get cancelled. So I'll be getting x cube plus x square plus 1. That's all I'm getting. So here the final answer is x cube plus x square plus 1. If I convert them into a binary value, I'll be getting like this, right? Now we'll go with the last two, right? That is 0, 1 and 0. I mean 1 into 7D and 1 into D4. Both are same because if you multiply 1 with anything, 1 times of 7D, I'll be getting 7D. So I want the equivalent binary value here. And for fourth one, 1 into D4, I again will be getting D4. So can you people post the answer for 7D and D4 binary values in the chat box? Okay, D4 for and 7D. Okay, so D4. Oh, Arun, okay, we are writing 7D in 8 bits. Yes, perfect. Yeah. For D4, you're getting as 1101. Yeah. 1101. 0. Okay. And for 7D, getting as 0. Right. 4, 4. Now what we have to do in sense, we have to XOR all these binary values. This one, and this two. Right. That's the final thing what we are going to do. Right. So if you write all these things for XOR operation, 1 1 sorry 1 1 triple 0. 0. And then we have 0 0. Right. Now I have to XOR. Simple way is nothing but take each and every column. If you find an even number of ones, put 0. Odd number of ones, put 1. That's all. So if you convert this as 1 1 0 0 0 1 0, what is the answer you're getting into hexadecimal value? Convert them into hexa. What is the answer you're getting? Can you put in chat box? 32. Check, kindly check once. This part will give me 2. This part 0, 1, 1, 0 will be giving 6, right? Totally, you'll be getting 62 as answer, right? You got the first byte. Now, if you multiply same column with the second row, you'll be getting a second element. So getting this one column itself is worthy for 10 marks. Whenever you have ones, it's easy, because for each and every multiplication, 2 elements will be repeating with ones. Other thing, you'll be multiplying with either 3 or 2. That's all. So is it clear, guys, how this mixing of column works? If it is
Excuse me,
clear,
sir.
yeah, Kashish.
For the equation where we calculated x to the power 8 plus x to the power 4,
Yeah,
the second step, yeah, in that case, you said if you have 2x to the power 4, then it will be 0, right?
yes.
Then my equation is coming to x to the power 8 plus x only.
Okay,
When we multiply x plus 1 into the whole equation that's given below.
yeah, this one, actually, if you multiply everything, you'll be getting x power 8 plus x power 7 plus x power 6 plus x power 5 plus x square. Okay, this one is once multiplied with x. Again, if you multiply with 1, I'll be getting, that is, you'll be adding x power 7 plus x power 6, again x power 5 plus x power 4 plus x. Now, if you see that all the repeating thing, I'll be omitting. X power 7 gets cancelled, 6 gets cancelled, 5 gets cancelled.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, I
Now
made a
we can able to
calculation.
see x power 8 is there, x power 4, x square, and x is there.
Okay.
Sir. Yeah.
Yes. Sir.
Anyone have any doubts, guys, in this part? Mixing of columns. So apart from this, if it is clear, kindly raise your hand.
So in the second one, we got a remainder of x cube plus x square plus 1, right?
Yes,
After
yes.
dividing. So
Yes,
what
yes.
if that dividend is bigger than the divisor?
Okay, suppose here, if it is, for example, assume you're getting again x power, mostly x power 8 will be gets cancelled. What you're saying, since suppose I have here like x power 10 plus x power 8, suppose it's going. And here I'll be getting this x power 10, you're saying, right? Like that you're
Yes,
saying?
sir. No, sir. Right now, the one which we are using to divide is smaller than the one which we are dividing, right?
Yes, yes. All obviously it will be smaller only. Don't worry. That's why they given this polynomial as a irreducible polynomial for this purpose. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Because the degree 8 has many number of irreducible polynomial, but AS algorithm, people said that you have to use this algorithm alone. This polynomial alone in this algorithm, so that you can able to reduce all the bits which are greater than 8 bits back into within 8 bits.
Okay, sir.
Any more doubts, guys? Most welcome. Because with this I
Excuse
will
me, sir.
yeah, Kashish.
Where did that divisor come from?
The irreducible polynomial you're saying, right?
Yes, yes, sir. The one which is written on top corner.
Yeah. Actually, each and every degree have a set of irreducible polynomial. They are like how can I say, how like prime numbers in that particular degree of polynomials. It is like a lookup table only. We don't
Okay,
have
so
how
this is given, right, sir?
yeah, this will be given.
Equation.
This is given. This is
Okay,
fixed.
sir.
Whenever you're going with AES algorithm, this is the equation. I mean, this is the polynomial we'll be using always.
Okay, sir.
No other polynomial will be given, or no other polynomial will be used also. Thank you for asking doubts. Any more? Any other clarification anywhere required? Okay, if everything is fine, then you can